Everyone, and welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. I'm your host for this evening, Craig Woodard Sr., and my co-host Deontay Cooley will be joining me in just a little bit. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, wonderful holiday. I hope you spent a lot of time with your family and had a great time. Hey, back to work tomorrow. I'll be back. I actually worked on Friday as well. This is episode 56. We will be getting to day 9 of our journey to the conviction with Kevin Seelinger. We'll get to that a little bit later. But what I wanted to do was start off. This is our last show before the end of 2025. So, last show, I wanted to do like a year in review wrap up to talk about certain things that we were thankful for here in 2025. And when Deontay gets on, we'll do the same thing with him. So I'll start. I'll go back. Wow, what a year. First of all, 2025 flew by very quickly. As they say, as you get older, time flies, and I actually see exactly what they're talking about. And when I was younger, the summers seemed like they lasted so long, um, and the school years uh, lasted so long as well. And then it just started to speed up and speed up. So that's where we're at here in 2025. This year flew by like a breeze. So just going back, year in review, I would say starting in um, March. As you all know, I am the executive director and president of the Down Syndrome Association of Tampa Bay down here in the Tampa area. And February 23rd of this year, coming up in 2026, will be 8 years old. So I've put a lot of time invested into this nonprofit 5013 organization, as did my board of directors as well. And in March, the first weekend in March, we had what's called it's Down to Bowl. We had Down to Bowl 4, I believe it was, this past March. And my vice president is Drew Garabo from Drew Garabo Live on 102.5 The Bone down here on the radio airwaves in Tampa. He is the man. He was actually our very first um, community advocacy award winner at our gala back in 2019. And right after that, he joined our board of directors and has been our vice president ever since. So, what he's decided to do was use his platform on the radio. Their sales team is magnificent, man. They get all the sponsors, they do all the legwork. I work very closely with them throughout the month of March to make sure we're coordinating and got the the lanes that are selling out, and we've sold out every single year that we've had this particular event. It's a charity event, and all the proceeds benefit the Down Syndrome Association of Tampa Bay. And this past March of 2025 was the very first time that we surpassed raising over $30,000. And that money goes back into the Down syndrome community. It allows us to offer all of the programming, the scholarships that we do for IEPs, everything that we do. It allows us to offer these things free of charge for all the members. So, for to Drew Garabo, our vice president, and the entire sales team at 102.5 The Bone, I salute you all. I thank you all for all the hard work that you put in last March. And we got another one coming up here pretty soon. We'll start advertising and promoting it, and we'll have the website for ticket sales and everything. It'll be probably this March as well, probably the first week. Usually it's around the same time every year. So I know Drew and the gang are very excited about that. Also, let me think. What else was pretty big for us? March was also our very first collaboration as far as um, the World Down Syndrome Day celebration. So it was the very first time that the Down Syndrome Association of Tampa Bay, um, Gigi's Playhouse Tampa, and Friends, all three nonprofit groups here in the Tampa Bay area got together and actually put on a event together. And so it was beautiful to collaborate. The event was held at the Tampa River Center on March 21st of 2025, and it was a great time. Well, you should see the kids and these individuals blessed with Down syndrome come together, uh, grab something to eat, listen to some music, and get on the dance floor. It was kind of like the gala that we put on, but it wasn't a dress up thing. It wasn't a sit down dinner. It was just basically a party where everybody could get there. We had 250 people there celebrating Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And what a beautiful thing it really was. And so it went off so great. What we decided to do was to put that on again this year, coming up in 2026. So last year, World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. Let me explain why March 21st is World Down Syndrome Day. So, if you don't know what Down syndrome is, there's three different types of Down syndrome. Um, the Probably the most prevalent form of Down syndrome is called trisomy 21. All right, you got trisomy 21. Um, Trisomy 21 means that so you have um, 23 chromosomes you get from mom, you get 23 chromosomes from dad. So you have a total of 46 chromosomes that the typical person does. Chromosome number 21 for a individual blessed with Down syndrome, they actually have an extra copy of it. So you got the one copy from mom, you have the one copy from dad, and then you have the extra copy. So that's three copies of chromosome 21, hence trisomy 21. Okay? And that is why World Down Syndrome Day is on March 21st. March being the third month of the year, and the 21st being the 21st day of the month. So, trisomy 21, March 21st, World Down Syndrome Day. That's how you come up with that. Yeah, so it's very fitting. A lot of people don't understand how we come up with that, but I wanted to explain that to you all so that you all knew exactly what that is. So on March 21st, coming up in 2026, we will have another event going on. We're going to have a World Down Syndrome Day celebration. All of the groups will be together as well. And it's going to be a wonderful thing. This is bringing the community together, the Down syndrome community, other special needs. Everyone is welcome. But it's going to be on a Saturday night. March 21st of 2026 is on a Saturday. Last year it was on a Friday night, so it was very fitting to have those days on the weekends. It's going to be from 6 to 10 p.m. This time it's going to be at the Regent here in Riverview. It's going to be a blast. You can look on our website for ticket sales, and we're going to be promoting and pushing those out. And if you can't make it, you can donate to the cause. We take donations as well. All of the funding will go to help us offer free services for all of the individuals blessed with Down syndrome. So we're excited for that as well. So that was another great thing that occurred in March. What else am I thankful for? Um, let's see. June 9th of 2025 was my father, Chicky Woodard. He lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He's retired, former vice president of student affairs at Kutztown University. Um, he turned 80 years old on June 9th of 2025. And I hadn't seen my dad in a long time just because of the distance, and he had not met Craig Jr. yet. Craig is 11 now, and so Craig Jr. and I flew up to Philadelphia, went to my sister's house, and spent a couple days there. And this was the first time. I have four sisters. I don't know if all of you know that, but I have one older sister, Andrea Woodard, and she lives in Rochester, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, Rochester, New York. Um, and then I have three younger sisters, Ashley Woodard, um, Adina, and Atea. And they're a lot younger than me. They're in their 20s. But we, all four of us, have not been in the same, actually, all five of us, we have not been in the same room at the same time together. We've never had that opportunity. So, what we did is we planned for us to be with my father and take him out to dinner to celebrate his 80th birthday, um, right around his birthday. And we made that happen. And I shared some pictures and everything, and it was fantastic. That was the first time that I had seen him in a while. That was the first time that he met Craig Jr. Craig Jr. was able to meet a couple of his aunts. Of course, Ashley had been down here a few times, and he knew my older sister, Andrea. I call her Angie. But um, what a great family moment that we do have. I hope you all through this year have made some great family moments, And my dad felt um, so grateful that all of his children were under one roof at the same time for the first time. Um, you know, if you have the opportunity to reach out to family members or even some close friends that maybe you have a scarred relationship with. The other thing that 2025 has taught me is that you're not promised tomorrow, you know. And my father mentioned, if the good Lord were to take him, he would die with a smile on his face because he's so proud of his kids. He's so proud of us. And he was able to see that moment with all of us in the same room at the same time while meeting his grandson for the first time. And it was very special, but it does make you think about mending old relationships. And in one of the past podcasts, I had talked about this as a topic before. Um, it's never too late to mend old relationships until it's too late. And you really need to um, sit down and think about what it is that you have against someone. What happened in your former relationship that caused you all to be at ends and not speak anymore? There's some things that you need to do, man. Look in the mirror and just say, is it worth it? Was this relationship worth saving? Is it worth saving? And if it is, then by all means, you be the bigger person and reach out to that person. Just ask them how they're doing and try to mend that relationship, whether it's family, whether it's friends. Um, you can do that, and you have to do this for yourself. You know, um, Forgiveness is something that should make you feel good. Um, that's something that the Lord has always taught us to be able to do is to forgive people. Um, Everyone's different. Everyone has different personalities, different feelings, different upbringings, different cultures, and they go about things in a different way. So you got to look and ask yourself, is this relationship worth saving? If this relationship is worth saving, then you be the bigger person to reach out and try to mend that relationship. And if that person is not reciprocal of your efforts, then it is what it is. You can always be happy with your efforts because There's going to come a time where that person is no longer here, or you're no longer here, and you'll be in a position to say, "I did everything that I could to try to mend that relationship." I see it, DC. He's headed to the lab. DC's about to come on in a minute, so. Um, but he'll tell you the same thing. We've all had some relationships in the past that we've had to walk away from. And don't get me twisted here. Now, there are some relationships that are toxic that you really just don't need in your life anymore. And um, if that person does not bring the best out of you going forward, then by all means leave that person on the sideline. You don't need negative people around you. You want positive people around your circle. And I try to make sure that I keep positive people around me um, at all times. So, being around family, my four sisters, my dad, I got to see my stepmother. Um, it was wonderful. Got to see my nephews as well. What a blast we had. And June 9th, my dad's 80th birthday, that was definitely one of the um, fantastic memories of 2025. Now, um, think of this. This is the beginning of June. I come back, and then July 2nd happened. I still remember looking on the news. Actually, before even the news, I was looking on social media. I believe I think it was either Terry or Jerry's live video when my cousin Marcello Woodard was shot and killed by Kevin Seelinger. Um, and from that moment on, we have changed our podcast to make sure that we recognize this injustice that has occurred. And we want to continue to cover this all the way through the trial, now that we know that there is going to be a trial coming up, because Kevin Seelinger 9 days ago was arrested and charged with murder. That is something that Deontay and I will be getting into as well. Um, we won't be talking as much about it because it's under investigation, and we don't want to do anything to tamper with the investigation. But there's things that we can talk about out loud that everyone talks about, um, you know, while they're drinking coffee and things in that nature. We want to make sure that the family is at ease, as much as they can be. I mean, this past week was a tough week for Cello's family, his immediate family, his kids, and um, his fiance Shamel. I know she's on. Listen, I can't imagine um, how tough it was waking up Thursday morning without um, Cello there. And I've been up front with you guys about this. Cello was my second cousin, and I have been out of the Erie area since, wow, 2007, I believe. So um, I never had the opportunity to meet Marcello. I really wish I would have had that opportunity. But from what I hear from a lot of my other family members, my other cousins, and everyone, I just hear how great of a guy he was. And he wasn't perfect. I mean, he was on parole. He had some issues and things, and made some choices in his life that he served time for. But he was almost out of off of parole and was turning his life around, and had the biggest personality. A lot of people talk about my personality. I'm sure him being a Woodard, he has the same personality. That's how we roll, and I can say that without even knowing him. And so I know how tough it was this past week for the family. So that happened July 2nd, and we're still in the thick of things, and we will be here covering and talking about this all the way through. Can't stop, won't stop, and we won't do that. So that was in July. Oh, what else went on after that? We turned around and had our gala for the first time. We had our gala for the Down Syndrome Association in Tampa Bay. It's called Rise Up for Down Syndrome Gala. We had it at the Tampa River Center, and that was the same place that we actually had the World Down Syndrome Day celebration. We got so many rave reviews at the celebration that we decided to have the gala there. And wow, it was a beautiful event. We're going to have it there again next year. It's going to be on October 3rd in 2026 as well at the same venue. This venue is beautiful outside, right on the water. When the sun goes down, it's just incredible. It was sold out. We had a family as the title sponsor. Um, um, Zachary Owen actually ended up as the title sponsor. So it was just a beautiful event. One of the second time, I think, second time we sold out, raised some funds there. We had a silent auction there as well. Um, we had CJ Koenig with Bash Entertainment there that provided the entertainment and the DJing. Roxanne Wilder from Tampa Bay's Morning Blend. She's a co-host. She was our MC once again. Um, a number of award winners: Dennis Mueller. We had Ernest Watkins Jr. We had Natalie Taylor. She is also the co-host of Tampa Bay's Morning Blend, and she won our Community Advocacy Award. Um, oh man, we had a couple other folks there that we had some surprise awards as well. Tina won an award, Mercedes won an award, Susan won an award. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Oh, um, the Spinxes won. Ed and Tina Spinks won an award as well. And so, what we do at these galas is we try to recognize a lot of um, local advocates around the area and let them know we see you and we appreciate you and we want to give you your flowers. Come on and spend some time with us. Get dressed up, black tie affair. Um, bring your kids and have a meal. We have open bar for 4 hours, and the music is outstanding, man. And we definitely have a blast at these galas here. Let me see. Terry's saying something here. He's saying, "Well, fam, you got me and Jerry, and we can tell you a lot about cello. He was around us all his life. You also have Snowy Crosby, Malcolm Pulliam, and Shamel. Terry and Jerry Roberts are my twin cousins. They're just 2 weeks older than me, and I've grown up with them all my life. And I've known Malcolm for years since I was little, and Shamel was Cello's fiance, who have gone through a lot, and Snowy, oh man, Snowy, she's incredible, man. The people around Cello are amazing, and I've gotten to know a number of people through my advocacy work from down here in Tampa. And best believe I will make it up to Erie one of these times, whether it be one of the main court hearings or something. But I will be in Erie and come up and be able to meet some of the people that I have spoken with and grown close with over the advocacy over the last 180 some odd days. So thank you, cuz, for that. I appreciate it. They make me feel so welcome because I'm down here in Tampa, and I try to use my platform here to advocate and push for justice for cello, and I'm not there to do the legwork, with them when it comes down to the protests and going to the city council meetings and things like that. But they know where my heart is, and they know that's why I'm on the airways right now, is for these things. So thank you, cuz I appreciate that. Um, What else? Okay, so September we had the gala. The gala was big. We raised a little bit of money there. What else did we have? Um, oh, I know what else we had. The other big thing that I was super happy about was it happened. Let me see. Was it 9 days ago? Yeah, about 9 days ago. December 19th, Kevin Seelinger was arrested for the murder of Marcello Woodard. That was one of the best days of 2025. Yes, it definitely was. And it was one of those things where we've all been pushing and pushing for this to happen. And um, finally, this happened. I'm going to bring Deontay in. He just popped on, and this is perfect timing with us talking about Marcello Woodard. Cuz, welcome. I was just talking about 9 days ago, wrapping up here to 2025, just a year end in review, with this being the last show in 2025 for us, the last podcast, what we're thankful for. And my last thing that I'm thankful for is December 19th, Kevin Singlinger being arrested. Um, it's something that we have been pushing for the longest time, man. We were going strong, 169 days, not wondering, not understanding why the investigation was taking so long. Um, we kind of put some thought processes out there as to why it took so long. I'm hoping some of the scenarios that you, DC, and myself were talking about may be true as well as why it took so long. But the fact that we know for a fact that Kevin Seelinger is in jail, was locked up with no bail, and will be in for the duration until the trial makes my heart feel really good right at this point. Right at this point. Um, Deontay, we'll get back to um, Cello and Seelinger and Osborne in a minute here, but I want to give you the opportunity to do exactly what I just did. Year in review, 2025, going back to January, and this is why I didn't give you the heads up, because I want your on the spot reaction of what are you thankful for that occurred for you in 2025, if you went through the months. And you've had a lot of great things in your life, a lot of great change in your life, and we'll get into some of those as well. But tell me, 2025, man, what were the good things for you as far as your year in review?
Uh, well, for me, I think I mean, as corny as it may sound to some people, but I think the most thing that I'm grateful for is me, you know, getting more personal with my spirituality. You know what I mean? Connecting more with God, developing an understanding of who I am, what I'm supposed to be, and how God has favored me. Because a friend of mine challenged me, like, yo, he asked me, like, do you know who Jesus really is? Like, not the stuff that they told you in church, but so I was challenged to read the Bible. And so I started reading the Bible, and then Aunt Gwen gave me a daily devotional, and it just kind of went from there, you know. And like since then, a lot of the things that I've criticized, a lot of the things that I've questioned, a lot of the things that I've even like that didn't make any sense to me whatsoever was like God. I believe that God is showing Himself or herself to me and allowing me to understand how my steps have been ordered.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing that I can be most grateful for, because this year has not been an easy year for me. It's not been easy at all. And I know, like, I made a status earlier, and I know, like, I'm always happy and I'm always smiling, but this has been one of the toughest years
Yeah.
that I've ever had to go through. This is one of the most financially straining years that I've ever had to go through. But I strongly believe that God put me through everything that I went through to see if I'm ready for what I'm about to be blessed with.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I'm telling you, man, I do not know like how I made it this far without being broke, without starving, without losing my mind, without
Yeah.
going crazy before because of the strain and relationships with my family. So, like, the thing that I'm most appreciative of and the most grateful for is gaining a better understanding for the love of God and loving God more and understand that I'm going to be okay throughout my process as long as I trust, believe, and I have faith.
That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, Cause I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that even though we're related, we didn't know much about each other personally before Cello really brought us together. You know, I'm thankful for you, man. I'm able to sit back as your big cousin. I'm 51 and look at how you handle business and how you take care of yourself, um, how you stand on business, what you put up with, what you don't put up with. Um, and you told me from the very beginning, you said, cuz, there's some people that may not like me because I say what's on my mind and I'm just real about what I think. And I said, no, cuz, that's what I would love about you, you know? And, you and I connected, and I had you on the podcast as a guest for the first few shows that we appeared together, man, and we just, as family does, we just meshed together. And this is not me saying this. This is the feedback that I get from a lot of people that have watched us on the podcast, man. And I've seen that we've gotten a lot of people um, all over the country. I mean, I broke that news to you the other day that we have viewers in Canada that watch this podcast, man, and the fact that you and I can come on here and talk about all kinds of things, try to educate people, is a blessing, and I really appreciate the dynamic that you bring to the podcast. Um, this was 2025, man. So I really appreciate you and you bringing um, some some realness and a different perspective to the show. I talked to a lot of people outside of the show, and a lot of people even down here in Tampa. They're like, "Hey, man, your cousin, man, he's sharp. He's man, he's on it. He's good. You know what I mean?" And just all positive things, man. So I'm appreciative of you. I love you, and I'm so glad that you. I said, "Hey, man, you wanna come back on next week?" You said, "Hey, whenever you need me on, I'm on with you and stuff." And then, hey, you're my co-host now, so this is your show too. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and I feel like it's important for us to continue to do this because we have a lot of information that we
Yeah.
need to be passing along to people, and I believe that we have a lot of people who are paying attention, who are following
Hmm.
some of the things that we're talking about, and I believe that we are educating a lot of people as well as people educating us. We're sending us information, so I'm appreciative of this. And it's an unfortunate situation, but Cello has brought a lot of us together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, to build and to connect. And I was telling them at the church today, like we're not going to let his name go in vain because when you look at the impact that he has had on our community, and now we're looking at it to where like Cello is having an impact on the United States of America. Like I've
Yeah,
been,
man.
scrolling, I'm seeing people on different podcasts. I see you down there in Tampa.
Hmm.
Malcolm, he's connecting with different people. So it's just good to see that um, Cello's name will live forever, and we are able to help people understand how serious we are about it and how important family values are. And again, I'm appreciative of the people who have been following along, who have no idea who's who, but just understand right from wrong
Yeah.
and are willing to step up for it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, just reading another comment. Terry would kill me if I didn't read this. So he said, Craig, just to lighten the mood for a second, you used to be a sports broadcaster. So I'd like you to ask our little cousin Deontay, what was his score at bowling tonight?
I think I bowled. My last game was a 127.
Okay.
I think I had like a 140, and then the first game I didn't even break 100. I didn't. I don't think I only closed the ninth frame. I got a
Oh,
spare.
wow.
No, the 10th frame. I got a spare in the 10th frame. But other than that,
Yeah.
it was horrible, man. I don't know. My focus wasn't there tonight, man. So
Yeah. Yeah. And you got your team playing right now, too.
yeah,
That's pretty,
yeah.
I know where you're at. So,
Oh no, that's cool
um,
about that. I ain't worried about that. But the bowling thing I can
yeah.
control. The 49ers I can't. So
That's true. Very true. Very true. Yeah, hey, you mentioned something. I want to go back to this really quick here. Just reading a comment here. Cindy said, "Quick reminder: Looking up the dates for the calendar, Erie City Council should be on January 7th, and Erie County Council is the day after on January 8th. So we'll make sure we wrap up with that as well. But Deontay, you had mentioned in 2025 being a tough year for you on a number of occasions, but one of the biggest probably highlights for you this year was your spirituality. And you attended a church service today, and I watched the videos, man. And I tell you what, man, I loved everything that you said. Um, Mimi, I loved her video. She always just has the right things to say at all times, man. Can you tell me about your day? What activities you were a part of over at the church? What you were talking about? Where you were, and how things ended up for you today?
So yeah, so like interestingly enough, that was something that caught me off guard. But I was at the it's called, hold on, I'm looking it up because
Okay.
it's the first Unitarian Universalist Church of Girard. So it's a
Ah,
Unitarian Universalist church. I was not familiar with what that was, or
yeah.
how that took place. And this was something that Marcus Atkinson and I had discussed. He kind of put this together for me.
Uh huh.
He had some contacts out there, and he had been out there before. And some of the members of that organization have, they were asking about, some of the things that I spoke about since the run for city council.
Yeah.
So, like, when they had asked me to do it, and that's also Carla Arnon who comes to the meetings. That's her
Mm-hmm.
church. So she knows, she's like, hey, I'm excited. I heard you're going to be a guest speaker. So when
Yeah.
they asked me to do it, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And they're like, well, this is a church where we talk a lot about social justice and activism. And they were like, give us your lesson or whatever 2 weeks before you go. Now, mind you, I don't write scripts.
I
Like,
don't
I
either.
don't write scripts or speeches or nothing like that. So
It's
I
like,
kind of put
man.
it aside, like,
Yeah.
then they're
Yeah.
sending emails for updates. I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, sorry. So then I'm like, well, I read a daily devotional every
Yeah.
single day. And I'm like, I share and I post it. So what I'll do is I'll read the daily devotional in the church, and then I'll just
Talk from there.
freestyle pretty much about what
Yeah.
it means to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, cool. So I'm thinking that this is the route to go. So then as we get closer to it, when I say closer to it, I mean yesterday. So yesterday,
Okay.
I'm like, man, this is church. I can't just go in here freestyling about something that I'm just learning about because I don't talk about stuff that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, boom. So I get my devotional, read my devotional from yesterday. All right, boom. So I'm like, okay, this is now I need to read this book in the Bible because every day it relates to a different book in the Bible. So
Excuse me.
now I got my Bible out and I'm reading the book of
Hmm.
Haggai, excuse me. I'm reading the book of Haggai. We're reading it with the devotional. Now I'm taking notes, you know what I mean? I'm Googling who is Haggai, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out all of these people. And then I sent it to somebody. I sent it to Marcus, as a matter of fact. Like, yo, bro, I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I'm doing. He was like, well, I love the work you're doing. He was like, it's not really like a Christian church. You know what I mean? It's more of a social activist and stuff like that. So he was like, feel
Okay.
free to speak freely. Feel free
Okay.
to. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So when I get there, they had already had a message. They gave me a program and they did their little thing. And they was talking about being the best version of yourself that you can be.
Hmm.
So I read yesterday's devotional, I reflected. I read today's devotional, I reflected. And then I pretty much just went into the subject of like what it means to me to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be, what it
Hmm.
means to have the opportunity to present in front of a room full of people who don't look like me, what it means to have their attention because um, I don't know, like it was like one younger person in there, but
Hmm.
I'm 39, and I don't think that there was one person in there. It could have been that was young as me or younger than me, and I think there was people in there up to 85 years old.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So we talking 40 plus to 80 something. These are all older white people. So it was just like it was important for me to share a message or spread a message to individuals who have lived a long life but may not
Yeah.
have experienced the things that I've experienced to kind of understand the message that I was putting out as well as the things that we do and why we're doing what we're doing. So it was real good to have that opportunity to speak. And
Yeah.
then everybody in there was familiar with the Justice for Cello, how we've been moving.
Hmm.
I recognize Mimi for being there. I recognize Carla. Like this is how I know people,
Yeah.
and this is why it's important for us to continue to speak out and to engage and interact with other people. And I see in the comments that they got RIP and RAH to James Bierbauer. and that's another thing. You know what I mean? Like since
Hmm.
Cello's passed, like I believe it has opened doors for us to build relationships because Jim was out there
Man.
all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In his wheelchair, he'd be out there, or he'd have a lawn chair. Sometimes he had a bullhorn.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'd be screaming. I used to see Jim on Facebook in the comment section, like he trying to go at everybody who
Absolutely.
has something bad to say. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to just throw that in there. I just checked the comments and seen they saying that. But again, this is something like me being in that church was related to us speaking up for Cello.
Yeah.
Us having a relationship with James and his family
Yeah.
is connected to us speaking up for Cello. And then even me digging deeper into my spirituality was again because we are fighting for Cello when you realize that like you need more than human strength. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You need more than the connection that you have with your family. You need a connection with God. And I believe that, you know, I've always had a connection with God. I've always had a relationship with God. And you know what I mean? My friend encouraging me to read the Bible, and then my Aunt Gwen giving me the devotional, and then God rest his soul, Cello passing was more or less like a push to God. And then even like Dewan, that was Cello's cousin as well. Dewan was
Yeah.
that's my best friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I lost Dewan in March while still trying to run for city council after trying to celebrate a birthday. You know, so I
Yeah.
didn't even get an opportunity to grieve because, you know, we tell ourselves, oh, they would want me to keep going. Or, you know, our family members want us to keep pushing. So then, you know, D passed. Then we get to May, I lose the election. So I'm like, okay, now I'm about to start focusing on me. Then we get to July, Cello passes, and now it's like, you know, I'm all the way back in. So I believe that God has been preparing me for these moments. And I believe that as long as we continue to speak, as long as we continue to make connections, and as long as we continue to remain peaceful and positive, that we'll continue to build our relationships and make connections with people because I got a lot of friend requests and follows from the people who were in that church today. And
Yeah.
again, none of them look like me. And I was made sure to say that. And I made sure to emphasize the importance of me speaking to that group.
Yep.
And every single one of those people are informed of what's going on with Cello, such as Mr. James Beerbauer, or rest in peace to him. But again, we need to continue to, I'm going to say, trusting in God, putting our faith in God, being positive, being supportive of one another, and not shunning people away who want to help us because we are building and we are growing. So today's opportunity, again, this was God sending a message through Marcus Atkinson, sending
Hmm.
a message to me to send to other people because of Cello passing away, because of my bro telling me to understand who Jesus is, to my Aunt Gwen giving me the devotional book. I believe that it's all connected, and we need to continue to keep doing the things that we're doing, loving God, praising God, and building those relationships and making those connections because I know it all seems like it's all over the place, but it all kind of ties together and it all connects. And again, I don't want to say I'm glad because it sounds bad, but I appreciate the fact that Cello brought our community
Yeah.
so together. Like if that had been me, I wouldn't want it any other way as far as people advocating for me.
Yeah.
Even 170 days with nothing, and you got people loving on one another. You got new friends. You got people coming to these city council meetings. You got people educating themselves. You got people leaning in on God. You got people tapping into their faith. That was nothing but God. And I believe that God used Cello while he was here for him to do the things that he did while he was here.
Yeah.
And then when he left and he transitioned on to his next life for those of people who, for whatever it is that you believe, like who better than Cello to do something like this for us all to be coming together and for us all to be connecting and building. So, I mean, I give all faith, all praise. I mean, I give all praise and all acknowledgement to God, and I do believe that everything that has happened and is happening for a reason. And
Yep.
although Cello is not here in body, he's here in spirit, and we are making sure that this man's name never dies. Cello was, and will always be a living legend in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I know I'm going to make sure of it.
Yeah, and we're taking every advantage that is offered to us to make sure that we can take his name on a national level. You mentioned this about a lot of the podcasts that we were on. You were on one, I believe, in Virginia. Malcolm was on one twice here with the West Wednesday with Tawana Jones. She's Tyrone West's brother. Mr. Michael Brown Sr., Michael Brown Jr.'s father. They were on the podcast this last Christmas Eve, and we all listened to that. That was the second time he was on. So big shout out to the West Coalition for having Malcolm out there. I'll be on. I believe it's January 10th. I think she said. We'll let you guys know. But I'll be back on the podcast out in on KBLA with Black Lives Matter Grassroots LA on Tavis Smiley's platform for the second time to do a follow up now that Kevin's been arrested. I believe Joel Natalie wants you and I on Talk Erie here in the first week of January. So we will continue to advocate and get Cello's name out there by any means necessary. And now that things have shifted and there is an arrest, I'm hoping to see this story really grow some thicker legs here and go even bigger because everyone needs to know nationwide about what occurred, what happened, and where we're at right now, and why Little Erie has fought so hard to put Cello on the map and his story. And even though he is not here to push this message himself, he is because he lives in us. And God is great. God is good. He has put us and given us the strength to do so. And we're taking advantage of every single opportunity that we have. So definitely our thanks to God for putting us in this position and letting us have the ability to do so and the will to want to do so. And there's a lot of people that may not be great speakers or have a platform that they can get on, but there's other little things that they can do to fight for justice for Cello, and that's what we want to pull out of people. Wanted to talk about. I made a post earlier today, and I thought about this. You and I talked about this the last couple of weeks here, and we haven't seen a picture of Aaron Osborne in since July, and I had to dig back and I'm looking. I was like, I can't even remember what he looks like. I found a picture and then I posted it, and I'm like, okay, you guys see this guy? This guy could end up being one of our biggest witnesses. He was right there and saw what happened. So make sure that this guy is given the opportunity to share his story, which he might have already. But I just wanted people to know that, because there's some people saying he should be in jail, he should be in prison with him and stuff. Well, we don't know that. What if you and I talked about the whole devil's advocate what if thing? You know what I mean? What if he had no idea what was going to happen with Kevin Seelinger and he's just there, and Kevin does what he does and ends up killing Cello, and we can't say he didn't tell what happened because we don't know. We don't know what he said. We don't know what his statement was, but we know the police were there right after it happened. So we can't go against him because we don't know what his side is. Should we give this guy kind of leniency until we figure out a lot of the facts? Because there's a lot of things that we don't know about this guy, right?
Honestly, I would say yes. And I know that everybody's not going to agree with this, right?
Yeah.
But this is my thing when it comes to him.
Yeah.
So he could be like our best friend, and I pray for him. Like after everything came out and he was not named, like I didn't want to name him. I didn't want to try to bring any awareness to him because this is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Parole officers don't have the same type of bond as police officers, right?
Right.
So this is not a fraternity or a brotherhood to the sense of, okay, we're sticking together on this one.
Right.
These were two parole agents who were out doing their job, and one of them killed another person, right?
Right.
So then one person gets shot and killed, and again, I'm hoping that neither one of them ever have this type of stuff in their jacket to where it was a moment like we freeze up, like, oh my God, what just happened? What do I do?
Right.
And then somebody had reached out to me and was like, yo, but he left the crime scene and all of that. But think, okay, Cello's car was moving, so they had to follow the car. And I believe that they deemed where he died the crime scene and not where he got shot.
Correct.
And then once they got there where Cello was at, the police took her from there. And the police may have instructed
Mm-hmm.
them to go wherever they were to go and
Mm-hmm.
to not say anything.
Right.
So we have had silence for 170 days until the arrest, and we have yet to hear anything about Aaron Osborne. So it's like, for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm having faith that he's going to be our superstar.
That's what I'm
I'm
hoping.
having faith that he's going to go in that stand and
Yeah.
he's thinking to himself right now, listen, I'm a parole agent, because we
Mm-hmm.
talked about the role of a parole agent. We talked about the job of a parole agent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he genuinely wants to help people. Let's say he genuinely has care and compassion in his heart for ex-offenders who are trying to re-enter. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, oh my God, you just shot and killed this man. It is my duty to tell. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Right.
unethical. This is, this is irresponsible. So maybe they're not putting any pressure on him because he's going to be the person to seal the deal. He's
Right.
going to be the person to make sure that justice is served. He's going to be the person to make sure everything is clear, and transparent. And what I don't want is for any pressure that we put on him to make him feel like he needs to
Excuse
go
me.
against us, or
Right.
to make him feel like he has to do something to piss people off because he's been antagonized, or
Yeah.
he's been, drugged through the mud, or people keep saying his name. So, like, I'm glad that that point has been brought up, because, like, that was like some of the craziest stuff that I witnessed
Yeah.
after the arrest was, like, after they said he was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
It was more people upset and dissatisfied than it was people who were excited to know, like, yo, the man got arrested
Yeah.
with criminal homicide. It
Yeah.
wasn't a work related death. It wasn't an accidental duty. It was criminal homicide. He got incarcerated with no bail.
Yeah.
Like, even go for the fight for 170 days, it's like, when do we as a community just be like, thank you, we
Yeah.
got one win, let's re-strategize.
Yep.
I'm getting messages from people, and I'm seeing on Facebook, oh, the case has been botched, or oh, he ain't go to jail, where's the mug? And I want to see a mugshot. I
Yeah.
want to see the perp walk. But
Yep.
I'm trying to have enough faith to believe that this man is incarcerated. And I look
Mm-hmm.
at that as a small step for victory. And people are like, oh, well, it's going to take 2 years to go to court. Like, okay, well, let him fight from jail.
Yeah.
And they're like, what about Osborne? And I think that a lot of us are just so emotionally driven that
Mm-hmm.
we're not realizing, or we're not understanding that the district attorney did ask us to be patient.
Yep.
I mean, she gave us a little bit so we can give her some patience to not try to make this situation worse than what it is, not try to come with the conspiracy theories of, oh, they're gonna let him out of jail where nothing's gonna happen. Because based on the conversations that I've
Mm-hmm.
had, I'm a firm believer that there are plenty of people in the city of Erie who thought no charges were ever gonna come.
Absolutely.
So it's people
Absolutely.
like, oh, y'all out there for nothing. Y'all
Yeah.
going to the city council meetings for
Yep.
nothing, county council meetings for nothing. The DA ain't listening to y'all. Y'all doing all of this for nothing, right?
Yeah.
So as we go in the city council meetings and we posting on social media and we justice for cello hashtagging this, so many different people doing so many different things. There are people who are sitting back like, oh, all this for nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna get nowhere.
Yep.
And then, boom, the guy gets arrested. So then the
Mm-hmm.
next thing people say is, oh, but where's his mugshot? And I was
Yeah.
one of those. So
Yeah.
I will
Me too.
I will
Mm-hmm.
attest to that, me saying that. Then
Me
it's,
too.
oh, he finna walk. I seen, oh, he's on a monitor. Oh, they're not gonna treat him like they treat us. He's in a special jail, but he was incarcerated in hell with no bail. When?
Right. Right.
So even if he's incarcerated in this protective custody, understand and realize that a former corrections officer who is now a parole agent is in jail. So
Yeah.
yes, they're going to keep him safe because he has a right to due process, regardless of how we feel.
Right.
That man has a right to a fair trial. But I've never seen in my life so many attorneys,
Mm-hmm.
so many prosecutors, so many judges than I have on December 20th to up to like December 23rd. So we're like, I think that a lot of people were shocked that this happened. And then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who are cello friends were like, oh, wow, I should have been on board a long time ago, because now look. And now
Yeah.
it's to the point like, me and Malcolm were having a conversation. And I like talking to Malcolm because we be keeping it real through the phone the whole time. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to tell him, like, bro, listen, relax, right? Don't get too upset over people talking mess, because this is what's going to happen next, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the craziest analogy that I came up with. Once he gets convicted, and once they say murder one, or man, whatever they charge him with, and
Right.
let's say he gets a life sentence,
Mm-hmm.
there will be people who are going to say, but I bet you I ain't gonna have God send them to hell. You know what I mean? It's gonna be people who still gonna be thinking that we supposed to be fighting justice
Yeah.
up to the point to where we supposed to send this man to hell.
Yeah.
So for everybody who's been working hard, um, directly or indirectly, for everybody who's been posting the status and coming to the city council meetings and the county council meetings, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you all. I
Yep.
appreciate everybody who's been doing the behind the scenes work to give us information to help us keep going. And I definitely understand that it is frustrating when we get a small piece of victory and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's still breathing down your neck and wanting more. But I want to tell everybody to keep your heads up high. I want to
Mm-hmm.
tell everybody to stay encouraged,
Yep.
to not let anybody talk you into getting into no trouble. Don't let nobody confuse you or get you off track, because for 170 days there have been a group of people who have been saying justice for Cello, who have been seeking justice for Cello, who
Yeah.
have been doing all of the things. And those people, some of those people don't even know Cello. Like, I knew Cello, but I didn't know Cello, and that was my cousin. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
we didn't have a relationship. Like, you would think, as hard as I was going, that me and Cello hung every single day, and we did not, right?
Yeah.
But then there are people who hung with Cello every single day who
Don't
they
go
ain't
hard at all.
hard at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, we, for the people who have been fighting hard and who've been advocating, understand and realize that we all will receive criticism. Understand and realize that everybody's not going to like what we're doing, but we can't stop. And I don't want anybody to get discouraged. And at this point, don't even argue with nobody. Like, leave the arguing to me. Like, I'm a professional arguer. You know what I mean? So if anybody feel like y'all being criticized, be, oh, why you ain't do this for Cello? Why you ain't do that for Cello? Tell them to come holler at me, because I got time now. We don't got to do all of that stuff on the internet to where we antagonizing the district attorney. We're gonna give her some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna be patient with her. We're gonna talk. We're gonna do our podcast, and we're gonna make
Yeah.
our social media. But we ain't
Yep.
gonna antagonize her, because we need to make sure that Kevin Seelinger
Yes.
just walked away, and we don't want to
Yeah.
rush her to make a move or a
Yep.
decision to give him any pleas. We don't want her even considering plea. We
Right.
want her doing her homework. If anybody is a witness to this situation, you
Yep.
get a phone call from the district attorney, talk to her, and
Yeah.
then tell her, I got more to tell you later on.
Yeah.
Anybody, I don't want anybody withholding information. I don't want anybody disrupting the investigation. We don't want anybody bothering this thing. That woman asked us for patience on day 20. Then she asked us for patience on day 100. And
Yep.
then on day 170, she said, I'm going to lock him up. So now we're going to give her, just her,
Yeah.
only her,
Yep.
the patience
Yep.
that she asked for while Kevin Seelinger sits in jail when he fights for his case. But outside of that, I don't want anybody else engaging with the negativity or anybody else going back and forth, because I know how frustrating it can be. I know how frustrating it can get, and it's very easy for people to get off of their square when they engage with that. So when people are bringing that stuff, as far as, oh, well, why they ain't post this picture? I feel that way too. A lot of us do. When people say, oh,
Yeah.
well, why we can get a perp watch? I feel that way. A lot of us do too. When people say,
Yep.
oh, if it was me, I would have been locked up. I feel that way too. But we don't have to engage with backwards negative talk when we are progressing to get to the point to where, is this man going to take a plea, or is he going to go to trial? How do we prepare ourselves for what's next? And we don't have time. What's crazy is we don't have time to be arguing with Cello's friends
Yes.
and Cello's family members
Yes.
about what we did to keep his name relevant, what we did to keep the awareness going, to people who spent time with him, people who
Yeah.
partied with him, people who probably still owe him money, have so
Yeah.
much to say, and yet we don't got time to argue with those folks, especially when they're not stepping like how they stepping. So I'm gonna encourage everybody to not argue with those people. I'm gonna encourage everybody not to go back and forth with those people. And if you feel like arguing, or if you like to see an argument, you can just sign me up for the uh the productive. Or I don't want to fight nobody. I run my mouth all day. I want to, and I ain't no sucker either. So when I say I don't want to fight, I ain't saying it because I'm soft or I'm scared. I'm saying it because I don't fight. I don't want nobody
Yeah.
touching me, and I don't want to touch nobody. I
We're
exercise my
grown men. We
right.
can handle it right here on the podcast. Y'all can join us right
Absolutely.
here. We can have a conversation. Anybody, because there's a lot of trolls. That was my next thing, man. Before I get into the troll business, there were two things about what occurred and what could have occurred, and it was 50-50 for me. And that's why I went so hard as well, is that She either could have filed charges or she could have said justified shooting and let him go and investigation over, right? That was hurdle number one. Now, we're at hurdle number two. It's in the hands of the people right now because there's charges that are filed, right? So he's going to be judged by a jury of his peers whether or not he's guilty or not guilty. And
That's if he goes to trial. He might try to
that's
plea out.
that's if he goes to trial. If he tries to plea out, it's up to the family to decide whether or not they accept the plea deal or not. And I really, of course, we have no say so in that, but I really hope that um, for the charges that he got, you got to believe that she has enough evidence to support the charges that are rendered.
Can we speculate on one of those charges?
Please.
Okay, so because I did see the charges, right?
Yeah.
And those charges are public. And I was having a conversation with somebody that turned into an argument. But now remember, we said we filed those right to know papers.
Yeah.
And received word that he was supposed to be off parole in January.
January 18th.
Right?
Yep.
He was shot and killed in July.
Mm-hmm.
There is one charge on that paper that stands out to me that's related to this, and that charge is harassment.
Yes.
Because when you were on parole, you are state property, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can a parole agent be charged with harassment of his parolee? He has every right to search him when he sees him.
Yep.
He has every right to call him and say, hey, come in. He has every right to call. He could have called Cello phone every single day. Mm-hmm. Say, hey, I need you to check in. Hey, where did you go to work today? Hey, come urinate in this cup. But he got a harassment charge for his parolee. How was he harassing him? Now, again, this is my sole speculation.
Yes.
I'm going to say this. This is assumption. This is speculation. I'm not an attorney. I did not talk to anybody to give me this advice. This is simply me just guessing as if I'm watching Law and Order.
Yep.
If you received a harassment charge, that means that you were harassing someone. You cannot, I don't believe you can harass somebody who's property of the state when you work for the state.
Correct.
Unless you calling a phone, blowing a phone up, hours of the night to where you're not on the clock. That night, Kevin Seelinger was on the clock because he was working.
Correct.
So if you go to, again, he could easily say, well, I would just happen to be riding. I know that's his girlfriend's house. I was going to check on him, see if he's okay. Now, she didn't have to open the door. He had no right to go in there, but he seen Cello outside, which gave him every right to speak to him.
Correct.
Because he is his parole agent. And by Cello being on parole, he is property of the state.
Right.
But if he was not on parole, that means for the last 6 months, or no, 2 weeks short of 6 months, he was being harassed by Kevin Seelinger, who is an employee of the state.
Right.
So, and then again, the charge was criminal homicide for the H1. So it was not a charge as if a corrections officer, a police officer, a parole agent killed somebody that they were supervising. I believe that would have been a different charge.
Yeah.
When you take the criminal homicide and then you throw in the harassment, to me, it kind of looks like maybe that's why she was taking so long, because she was going through and trying to figure out, where's this 6 month hit at? Because these guys are now on internet talking, and that right to know also came to me. So if there was no 6 month hit, then Cello was technically off of parole in January.
Yes.
And he was shot and killed in July by what should have been his parole agent.
Right.
And that parole agent received a harassment charge. I would love to see an explanation of harassment defined in this situation.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, because it seems as though all of these charges are solely for him shooting and killing Cello, right?
Right.
So I wonder if as he sits in jail and as we hear a little bit more, is there going to be an attempted homicide on Shamel? Is there going to be, I've seen it was like reckless endangerment with serious bodily injury, but I know that she wasn't injured from him.
Right.
So does she have a case of harassment? Does she have a case of stalking? Does
Mm-hmm.
she have a plea for some PTSD and some trauma and some emotional distress to where maybe she can go for some civil charges that aren't criminal because she
Absolutely.
witnessed all of this? And Cello was killed by an agent of the state, and the charges were criminal homicide with harassment.
Yep.
So if Cello was being harassed, was Shamel not being harassed?
Right.
If Shamel witnessed this,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm huge on mental health,
Mm-hmm.
real big on mental health. That's going to have an impact on her mental health. He has to go in and out of that house every single day. We talk about this regularly. I can only imagine how that is impacting her and affecting her emotionally.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how many times she had to call off from work or leave work early to where it had an impact on her finances. I can
Yes.
only imagine what she lost from her fiance being a provider for her and her family.
Yeah.
What type of contribution does she need to receive from that? And I think that's why when we talk about the immediate family weren't speaking up and when they weren't giving information, I believe that they were waiting for Kevin Sealinger to be named so
Yep.
that they can go after civil claims and civil charges. And then once you see that harassment on top of everything else, I believe that there are some people who are way smarter than me, who have
Mm-hmm.
passed the bar, who have studied law, who understand what I'm saying, and they probably are realizing that, yo, he was charged with harassment from a
Mm-hmm.
parolee. How can you be harassing somebody that you're supposed to be overseeing 24/7?
Thank you.
So
Yep.
then I believe that, and I talk to Shamel regularly, but I believe that we need to get her, or we need to find an attorney who be willing to speak to her that is not from here, who handles civil cases, because think about everything that she endured on that day.
Yep.
Think about everything that she had to put up all the way up until this point. Think about the false claims about her. Think about the allegations that they made about her. She's been harassed on social media. She's been harassed in her inbox. People have harassed me to harass her. So I can only imagine some of the things that she's going through. And now that we have a name,
Yeah.
we have a shooter, and we know where he was working at and who he was working for, I believe that every single person in that immediate family needs to be working with an attorney to file a civil suit now. If he goes to jail or not, if he's not guilty, I don't care. They need to drain that man for everything he has, and they need to go after that system that employed him and kept him hidden for as long as they did. Again, as I'm finishing that statement specifically, that was not legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an attorney. I've never been an attorney. I've never
Mm-hmm.
studied law. No attorney told me to say that. That is all speculation. That is
Yep.
all assumption. That is all just me just running my mouth based on the public information
Mm-hmm.
that I did see that was posted and shared with the rest of us. And that is based on my experience of knowing people who have filed lawsuits for emotional distress, for PTSD, and people who have won those. So I'm not playing an attorney. I'm not telling anybody I'm going to represent them as an attorney. But those are just some things that I've been thinking about since they named that man's name. And I hope that Shamel is still paying attention. And I hope that somebody reaches out to her and says, hey, that guy may have knew what he was talking about, and he
Mm-hmm.
should probably reach out to a civil rights attorney who does not live in the Erie area, who loves to eat cases like this. Now,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
I'm no attorney. This is
Yeah.
no legal advice, but
No.
I'm pretty sure that some attorney would love to have a conversation with some people to get them to understand.
Well, I mean, you said a mouthful, and you and I talked about this on a number of shows. From the Right to Know, January 18th appeared in four different documents, and those said documents, the DA was carbon copied on, so she's seen those documents. So it is up to them to provide documentation that shows that he was supposed to be off of parole July 18th of 2025. We have yet to see those, and maybe that is a reason why it took so long, like you said, for this investigation to go on. Why the charges specifically were what they specifically were. And remember, through this entire process, she never named Kevin Sealinger until the charges were made. And she still to this day has not said the name Aaron Osborne. We have said the name Aaron Osborne because we know who he is and he was with him. But that could also be part of why those charges were what they were, and Aaron Osborne being our best friend to make this conviction go through. So there's a lot of things that you and I discussed a month ago, a month and a half ago, while we were playing devil's advocate, that appears to be possibly coming true. I don't know. We're speculating here, but we're not stupid either. And when you put these things together, and we know the factual information of January 18th of 2025 versus July 18th of 2025, and the fact of one of the charges being harassment, and how can you harass the property of the state, someone that you are a parole agent of? I mean, it starts to kind of fall in line a little bit here. You know what I mean? Um, we're no attorneys. We're just having a conversation. Two cousins with a microphone. That's all we are
There
right
we
now.
go.
We're having a conversation, but it makes a lot of sense. So leave Aaron Osborne alone. Let him, go about his life. Let the DA take as long as she wants to go through this whole trial process, because Sealinger's in jail finally. He's past due 169 days, but he's there now. So let this thing play out how it's going to play out. You're going to find trolls on social media. I have one I wanted to talk about real quick. DC, earlier today, I got a friend request from someone that had one friend, and the name on Facebook was Home Soon.
One of
So
those.
these people, man, they're being creative, and so I screenshotted it and I made a post, and basically said, maybe I would have accepted this friend request if the name was going to be in prison forever.
Mhm.
Maybe I would have accepted it then, but Home Soon's not going to make it. So I wanted to put that person on blast, and then of course I deleted that person's request. But we get some weird things in our inbox, man. When you're an advocate, I know you spoke about this, especially on your one of your dog walks the other day, about police presence, police following people, and all kind of stuff. Advice, man, for what you went through, and how people, let's name all the women, Mimi and Dr. Sue, and like everybody that is involved in speaking up for justice for Cello, that has been um, um, relevant, that has been outspoken, that are known now, because Erie's a small place, so everybody knows everybody. What kind of advice do you have for people to stay safe?
Well, again, I say this often, and I tell this to my daughter. My oldest daughter is 21. I believe any woman who is of legal age should get a license to carry
Yeah.
concealed firearm. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that, and this is for all people, but women specifically. I believe that all women should know how to handle the firearm, get a firearm that's comfortable with them and for them, because I've been hearing a lot of different things about some scary stuff that's going on even outside of the Justice for Cello thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage people to always be ready. And if you have a fear of guns, then
Mm-hmm.
get you some pepper spray, or a handheld taser, or one of those little
Yeah.
keychain things. I would just encourage everybody to keep themselves safe. And then also, like, I believe, and this is something that I'm working on as well. Like, I think that we all need to communicate with at least one person, like our safe place or our safe space that we can or will go in the event that my phone dies. You know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
I go MIA for a day or two, and I have places to where when I go MIA, like, I got my spots. But I
Yeah.
think we need to be thinking twice. Like, seatbelts buckle at
Yes.
all times, because the police may be looking to pull you over.
Yep.
No more California rolls through the stop sign. Stop at the
Yes.
stop sign. Make
Yes.
sure you're using them turning signals. And double check everything. Like, ladies, look in your car when you're getting in the car. Check your back seats. If it's out, you know what I mean? If it's dark
Mm-hmm.
out, and just be mindful of who is around you. If anybody indulges in alcoholic beverages,
Yeah.
watch your drink. If you walk, and this is stuff that everybody says, but like, I think that we don't take it seriously because it's very cliche and it's so just say no type of thing that we don't realize. But based on some of my experiences, based on some of the people that I've been seeing in my rear view mirror, or even like the other day, I was walking my dog and I seen a police officer ride past my house in a civilian car. Now, I was
Mm,
about 85% sure it was an officer, and it was the same officer who I believe I seen the day before.
mm-hmm.
But I don't do anything wrong, so I have nothing to worry about. But I think everybody needs to be aware that there are people who are not going to like what we are doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
People who don't agree with us seeking justice, and people who agree with what took place. And as we're making more noise, people are going to want us to be quiet. So I
Yeah.
would encourage everybody to, have a friend. I see Tina said a buddy system.
Yeah.
Like, let people know if you're not going anywhere that needs to be too discreet, let somebody know who's not going to be with you where you're going.
Yep.
Um, when we're making decisions now, we got to think twice. You know what I mean? Like with
Yeah.
everything. Like again, when you stop at a stop sign, double check. If you indulge in any type of behaviors, like make sure that if you need a Uber to
Yeah.
Uber, save a couple bucks. I mean, yeah, save a couple bucks
Mm-hmm.
and pay for a Uber or have a designated driver. And then also be aware of when you are in those public spaces where you are indulging in those things. Be aware of who else is in the room because I've been seeing people in places that I normally go to that I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen before. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
be mindful of that as well. No, like, some of us go to the gym regularly. Some of us go to a coffee shop regularly. Some of us go to a bookstore regularly. We know the regulars, and now we're starting to see people we've never seen before. So, and also to share when
Mm-hmm.
something happens that seems abnormal, or out of your realm of regularity, if that's a
Mm-hmm.
word, like share that publicly or talk to friends. Like me, I let people know. Like I'll send a text message to, yo, the police been, I done seen this cop 3 times, just a FYI. Like, or
Yeah.
yo, be mindful of this. And then I send people books to read, information to read. Like we gotta stay sharp and we gotta be mindful because this is not gonna be easy. And as we've made some progress, I believe a lot of people believe that we are responsible for Kevin Sealinger being incarcerated when Kevin Sealinger is responsible for him being incarcerated.
Correct.
So I just want, and then another thing too,
Mm-hmm.
drive different paths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every morning I go to the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, same time I go to the gym. So now I'm going different ways, different directions because you'll see who's in the rearview mirror as you making those different turns. Or also you will also realize that people pay attention to your routines,
Mm-hmm.
and then it does something for the brain too. When you start thinking differently, you start moving differently. So I would encourage people to follow the laws to the fullest extent for those of
Mm-hmm.
us who are involved in this, to be mindful of who you're around. You're going to be some new friends coming along. You got to kind of gauge those people, practice some discernment, exercise your Second Amendment right if you can. Fill out the application, get the license to carry concealed. Go to the gun range, get a gun that you feel comfortable with. Don't just buy the pretty pink gun because it's pink. It might be
Right.
45 and your hand is only size of a 380. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And stuff like that. And also find some people that you can rely on who you can trust. And then I also will, like, throughout this time, encourage any man who feels like he's a stronger stand-up dude to start coming forward. Because also what I'm learning from conversations that I'm having, there are some guys in our community who are real life creeps, man. Real life creeps out here, and they give a lot of us a bad reputation. So
Yeah.
I want ladies to be mindful of that as well. But for the fellas,
Yeah.
eyes dotted, T's crossed, seatbelts on, no rolling stops, look over your shoulders, be careful of your conversation, watch your drinks, watch your interactions, and just know that somebody's watching you and
Mm-hmm.
people are waiting to see us slip.
Two things here too. As far as the buddy system is concerned, do a check in and a check out. Before you leave, if you're sending a message, hey, I'm going to such and such. It'll probably take me an hour. And then when that hour passes and you're back home, hey, I'm back home now. You know what I mean? Something like that. Also, social media management. Be mindful of what you're posting about where you're at. Don't post that you're going out of town. Post that you went out of town when you got back home. Those pictures can wait. If you're posting, hey, I'm out in Colorado right now and you live in Erie and your house is wide open, man, you're just leaving yourself susceptible to break-ins and things of that nature. And that's for anybody. but especially now when you could be targeted. I mean, you never know if someone breaks in your house to try to plant some bugs in your house or something like that. You have no idea. So I would just give you that advice instead of posting in the moment. Post when you get home so you can show what you did, not what you are actually actively doing. That's probably one of the best pieces of advice uh, that I can give you guys. But yeah, be mindful of where you're at. Be mindful of your drink. Don't turn your back on your drink if you're at a bar. You just have no idea what some people are capable of. Just think about this. We didn't know that anyone was capable of doing what they did to Cello in Erie, Pennsylvania, but it happened. All right. But it happened. So we have to take this advice, man, and take this serious. And the people that are fighting for justice and have brought this situation to the limelight, those people could easily be targeted. And we know that because we see a lot of these trolls on the internet right now. We see people that are upset and these people that had negative things to say, and they still are pushing for Kevin Sealinger to get out of jail. They said wait. I saw something. They said wait until he gets to tell his story. He already told his story. It was in the first statement. He was dragged. That's it. That's all we got. So I try not to pay attention to some of these people. Some of these people, they want what they want because they're one sided and they don't see the injustice that has occurred here. So now that the DA has made her decision and came out with these charges, he's in prison with no bail for the duration until a plea is accepted or not, or the trial comes up. And we got all the time in the world, and we have all the discussion in the world, and there's going to be other things that we'll be talking about and doing and trying to resolve. But what we can do right now is start to chip away at working on change and what change looks like for the future, and that's what we're um, all about. DC, any parting words for before we let these people go for 2025?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I want to send some love to the Bierbauer family. Again, Jim was like Jim fought for justice for Cello until, from what I was told, he took his last breath. He was out there every protest that he could make it, every rally that he could make it to. He always sent messages. He always sent encouraging words. Malcolm told me that he spoke at his funeral.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to make it, so I'm grateful for that.
yep,
But I do believe that we at least owe Jim some recognition for all of his effort, for all of his yelling and screaming and seeking justice for Cello. Like he truly like we all say like we doing this forever. You know what I mean? We're gonna be screaming justice for Cello until the day that we die. And I will say that James Jim Bierbauer exemplified that. He showed us what it meant to scream for justice for Cello until he took his last breath.
yeah, he did.
And while we're making sure that we keep Cello's name alive, we also have to make sure that we keep James' name alive because he was a true advocate for justice for Cello. Man, that dude was out there. Like I said, he
Yeah,
was out there in a wheelchair. I
yep,
used to see him out there. I'm not sure if he had like his IV hooked up to him or something, but he always seemed to pull enough strength to come out there and support. I remember when he was sitting out there in the hot sun, like, oh, I was running to the cooler from him. He was like, "Can you give me a drink out the cooler?"
yeah,
Like, yeah, man, however I can help. So I'm not gonna go into too much details of anything else because I want to make sure that I leave my final note to be that I'm paying my respect to a man who fought for the same cause that we fought up until his last dying breath. So want to make sure we send some love to his family.
yep,
Um, Rest in peace, rest in power, rest in heaven, James Bierbauer. To the Bierbauer family, to his already obituary, he had a lot of people who has still survived him in death. Like, I just want to say I love you all for your loved one to be able to come and step and stand with us up until his last moments. We appreciate it. It did not go unnoticed, and I believe that that played a role as well in us getting some answers. He passed away on the 18th. The 19th we got the decision. So I'll leave it there with my final thing being rest in peace to Mr. James Bierbauer. And thank you for everything that you've done for us. And we're going to continue to send prayers and condolences for the family for their strength.
Yep, I echo your comments. I've known Jimmy B for a long time, and and I haven't been back in Erie in a long time as far as living. But he and I were friends on Facebook for a long time, and we kept up with each other, man. And to see a lot of the videos where he was out there, boots on the ground, man, with everybody fighting for justice for Cello, and then entered into the hospital, and he fought, to his last breath. And wow, the fact that he had to look down to see that this guy got arrested the following day was something else, man. But R.I.P. Big Jim. We're gonna miss you. Shout out to his family. Our condolences to his family as well. I guess my final word for 2025 is we're all getting older. We're all getting wiser. Um, I want you all to, um, you know, take a look around. Look at your family, look at your loved ones, look at your friends, and figure out what you can do in 2026 to make that other person better. When you make them better, you become better. And I think that's what we all need to work on in 2026 is making our neighbor better, as well as working on forgiveness. Because there's a lot of people that we've lost, and they have proven to us that tomorrow is not promised. So if there's any relationships, as I said at the beginning of this show, that you have to mend, be the bigger person, reach out to that person, um, dissect what it is, why you guys are at odds, why you're not talking, and come to a conclusion as to whether or not you can come past that point. And if you can, and that person can, mend the relationship now, sooner rather than later, since tomorrow is not promised. If you come to the conclusion that it's something that you cannot get past, and you've reached out and that person won't reciprocate, then it is what it is. Be satisfied with the the effort that you put forth, and just know that if you're taking that with you, you've done everything in your power to try to make amends with that loved one or that friend or someone that you have just lost that relationship with. Make 2026 a great year. And it's got to get better, and we all can continue to push for change uh, in the honor of Marcello Woodard, and that's something that we are going to work on for quite some time. Okay, for Deontay Cooley, I'm Craig Woodard. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next year.